issue of homelessness is something that, every city sees, and certainly we've seen it here in San Antonio. We saw a rise primarily because a lot of the shelters were following the CDC orders and not allowing any more people in their shelters. So it stopped that. But I also learned that a lot of our shelters also have a lot of barriers for entry, and so with those barriers, these folks simply have nowhere to go. They just don't.
So the first thing that's a barrier is what the person is dealing with internally, right? PTSD, childhood trauma, anything to where substance abuse, mental health issues. So that's a barrier within themselves that they need resources and assistance with. The next barriers are agencies and organizations that are designed to help, but they have rules and policies put in place that because of those rules and policies, these clients don't fit for that organization. And those barriers, one of them would be an ID, right? Driver's license, social security. We do have the San Antonio ID recovery team, the HOPE team, that meets on Monday mornings, but it meets once on Monday mornings, right? So that's another one where near a homeless client, 7 a.m. and getting to downtown, that could potentially be a barrier. Another barrier is detox. So if you are going to take a drug screen and you would test positive, then you can't qualify for services at Haven for Hope. The expectation is that you will go detox. Well, if you look at our detox beds, we only have 8 female beds in the city of San Antonio. So in the moment that I have somebody, it could take me 6 months for somebody, right? Day in, day out, and trying to show them the empathy and humanity with themselves, and they decide, you know what, I'm ready, Jamie, I'm ready. But then I take you to the detox facility and they send you away with an appointment a week later. That's a barrier. Another barrier is if you're a couple, and a lot of my female clients, they have a partner, right? If you're not legally married, for detox or for Haven for Hope or for the Haven for Hope Hotel, you cannot be housed together. And that's a huge barrier because, and all of my clients, male and female, when they have that partnership, they say, I would rather be on the street just sleeping with my partner than go somewhere out of my element with their own trauma and do it themselves. Another barrier is belongings. If you have your belongings with you, the expectation is when you go to Haven for Hope, you won't have those belongings anymore. And Haven for Hope will, futuristically get you clothes. You'll never be without clothes. But your physical belongings, that can't be there. And for a lot of my clients, they look at me and they say, this is my stuff. Like this, I have an attachment to these belongings. These barriers and these policies, they were put into place for a good reason. Because when you ask Haven for Hope or Detox, they have good rationales and reasons as to why these policies are there. The problem is if you're not addressing how to change the framework a little bit, or the people that you're eliminating or distancing from those policies, you're essentially saying those people don't matter to you anymore. And that is increasing more and more with the population that I see, these barriers where, and if I try to talk to anyone and say, these barriers eliminates all of my clients out here. It's kind of like, well, these are the policies and these are the rules. Well, then you're not really meeting people where they're at.
If you really see this as that moment where you saw our community as truly vulnerable and in a state where most people were living on that razor's edge, you mentioned evictions, that wave is coming. It hasn't even hit us because luckily there's been a moratorium that keeps sort of pushing that. But when that's over, when it finally is over, there's a potential wave of that. And there's a lot of people who have lived normal lives up to that point, could be out on the street, kids, single moms. And if you think about the impact it's going to have on our community, and the folks that may have never once thought about homeless people and how connected all that is. You start to say, you know what? Where's that social safety net? This is what government's supposed to be about. At the heart of this, we say the number one thing government does is protect public safety. And public safety is not just SAPD or the fire department. Public safety is that social safety net that says, you know what? We're not going to let you fall so far down that you can never recover.